Good morning. It's Friday, May 19th. And when I was a kid growing up in the Bronx, I spent my teenage years in a very integrated neighborhood. And it was integrated because there was a housing complex built there by an industrial union, and therefore we had many people of different persuasions who were union members and who had apartments in that complex, which was known as the Coops. And it was pretty famous here in our section of the Bronx. But as you could see, the Bronx was a left-leaning neighborhood, and many of us hung out at the American Labor Party when we had nothing better to do. So I was familiar from that time in my life of a woman called Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, who had the nickname of the Rebel Girl, because early in her life, at the age of 17, she earned her nickname. She had given her first political speech at the age of 15, because she had joined the Industrial Workers of the World, a union that existed at that point in time. And she also went on to be the founder of the American Civil Liberties Union. And she was a fighter, a great fighter for women's rights. Elizabeth Gurley Flynn died in 1964 at the age of 74. So why am I talking about her now? Well, she grew up in Concord, New Hampshire, and the people in that area recognized the fact that this was a heroic woman, and they decided that her birthplace should give her the honor that she earned during her life. So they erected a plaque in her honor, which they put in a very visible area of the town of Concord. And this plaque gives a brief description of Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, the Rebel Girl. Born in Concord in 1890, she was a nationally known labor leader, a civil libertarian, and a feminist organizer. She joined the International Workers Union of the World at 17, and she gave fiery speeches, and that's what earned her a nickname. And she was a founder of the American Civil Liberties Union. And Flynn advocated for women's rights and was very instrumental in getting them the vote in 1920. And also she fought for them to have the right of birth control. Imagine what she would be doing now with this abortion business, right? But what happened to her is she also joined the Communist Party in 1936. And the result of that is that she was sent to prison for 3 years under the McCarthy Act, when the Senator McCarthy was holding all those hearings and persecuting people who were supposedly communists. But Elizabeth Gurley was a communist, and she actually was honored by Russia at one point in time. But did that make her a bad person? Does that mean that she didn't deserve the honor of having her plaque put in Concord? Well, apparently it did. Apparently it upset several Republicans, and they have had her plaque taken down. But the people of Concord are very upset about that, because what business is it of anybody who's outside their area messing around with the honor that the people of Concord feel that Elizabeth Gurley Flynn earned? And they were proud to have her as a citizen of the town of Concord, New Hampshire. But the political forces in that part, the Republican political forces in that part of the country, had her plaque taken down. But the people in Concord are fighting to have it restored. And they gave a stupid argument about why they took it down. Because the people in Concord put it on property that was owned by the state. Well, who knows who owns what property in many parts of this world, in many parts of this country? Who knows who owns a piece of property? They put it down on a corner where it be visible to everybody, because they were proud of the fact that this woman came from their small town and accomplished great things. In spite of the fact that many people believe that communism is evil, remember back in the 30s, it wasn't evil because workers were not getting their just rewards at those particular times, and somebody had to fight for the workers. And that's what Elizabeth Gurley Flynn did. She was a workers' fighter and a women's fighter and was instrumental in doing great things in this country, causing great things to happen in this country. Imagine that she was one of the first that was concerned with medical care for women. And they take her plaque down because communism is a bad thing. And maybe it is a bad thing. But that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't earn you the right to have your plaque taken down. Especially by Republicans who are just evil in their own way. This, in my mind, is an attack on freedom of speech, so to speak. So I think it's a disgrace that 4 Republicans and a Democrat who really have done nothing so far in their lives to benefit the amount of people that benefited from the actions of Elizabeth Gurley Flynn. These are midgets compared to Elizabeth Gurley Flynn and what she accomplished in her life. And they have the right to take her plaque down just because at some point in her career she decided that communism was the way to go. That's long after she did many, many good things. And then she spent 3 years in jail because of McCarthy and McCarthyism. That alone should allow her to have this plaque. The mere fact that she was unjustly sent to prison just because of political belief. How many people today believe in things that could get them sent to prison just because they believe in something? Belief in something and actions in something are entirely different, and everything that Elizabeth Gurley Flynn did in her life was for the good of humanity and for the good of women. She was one of the courageous women that led the fight for women's rights. That should override anything else that she had done. And to have your plaque removed by inane people, elected officials who have produced nothing of value so far, it's a disgrace to this country. It's a disgrace that they even admitted they had this plaque taken down. And the people of Concord are upset. And they all knew the history of Elizabeth Gurley Flynn, and they were willing to put this plaque up in her honor. So their voice doesn't count. Just the voice of some political hack overrides the voice of the entire town. That's a disgrace. Have a good day. I'll see you in the morning. Bye.